Okay, we're going to jump ahead to the next section here with, I don't know where we're starting. Here we go. We're going to go all the way down past our clothing, food, and housing and start talking more about popular culture expansion, and then rubbing up against um, the the establishment and stuff like that. And then we'll look at landscapes, and landscape is very important when we're talking about pop and folk culture. 4.7 Diffusion of popular media. Please pause this and watch and look at any of the maps you wish. I'm going to fly through this since we've covered this in class a lot. Television, internet, Facebook, part of the internet. You can see how much it's connected the world. And this leads to culture wars, the newer ideas coming up against the older ideas. We started seeing this in the 50s with the Greasers, the 60s with the hippies, and then today we're seeing those hippies, that generation, running things now. And again, it's the conflict among individuals and social institutions over many issues such as abortion, gay rights, gun control, religious expression, stuff like that. We're seeing the younger generation wanting to be a little more free, more liberal, and the older, stauncher generation wanted to keep it conservative in the way it was, which was good for some people, but not for many people. Depends on what viewpoint you're in, what lifestyle you're in, and what culture you're living in. Uncompromising stances taken by each side, and it's turning vicious. The word compromise is now a bad term in Congress, as we see the last 6 or 8 years or 10 years. And it's really gotten to the point where it's really stalling our country. You can see all sorts of things here, stem cell research, whether it's good or bad. It depends on ethics, gay marriage, restrict abortion. There's many people think Mr. Gingrich is the one who started this downward trend in the mid-90s. Him and Rush Limbaugh and the opening of the airwaves for hate speech. And you see other things, I have no idea what this is. I guess it's Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, all sorts of other things here. This is the Bible being pulled out of a courthouse in, I think it was Alabama or something like that. Maybe it was Tennessee. Okay, red zone, blue zones. We've seen this with the elections. I'm going to let you read this if you want to, showing you presidential elections 2000. You can see the regional differences. This is rural and southern. This is eastern, northeastern, and Midwest, and the West Coast. But this is what it really looks like. This is just the whole state, and this is looking at the counties. And you can see in the south we have the Black Belt, the African American high population counties, all the way up to the coast of Virginia and North Carolina. You can see West Virginia, a lot of the coal miners, the Mississippi River Valley here, and then other places all over the country here. This is Obama-McCain in 2008. This is the number of votes or margin of victory. So you can see the big cities, urban populations voted for blue, rural populations and the much lower rural population numbers voted for red. And this is the real political or popular landscape map. You can see the blues and reds. The population size by the circle is the amount of people voting, and the red little small dots, the blue little small dots, are the population sizes there. So the big red and blue map, it looks much more menacing with red here and blue on the coast, where it's just much more of a mixture. And we'll talk about this when we talk about political geography. Landscapes. Landscapes of folk and popular art and leisure. Folk culture landscapes are extremely important in this chapter. We're going to go over some of these here. You can see this is Tibet, in between Nepal, Tibet, India, Bhutan, up in the Himalayas. These are not popular as much as worldwide as their folk, local, rural, small communities. We look at popular culture landscapes like golf courses. It's a perfect example of what a popular culture landscape is. this and shopping malls and things like that. But look at what a golf course does. It takes a lot of land and space. It takes a lot of resources to keep green. In some climates that's fine, like the Scotland area where it's wet and cold and grass is nice and big and tall and you get a lot of moisture. But other places, it's a water hog. It's a chemical hog. It's environmentally not sound, and it's not representing the population. Social clubs, upper social economic groups belong to these social clubs. Private golf courses, popular culture and environment golf courses. Which cities have the most golf courses per capita? Which have the least? You can see green and blue and stuff like that. Is this folk culture or popular culture? Well, in Scotland, it's folk culture. It's where it started, supposedly. And one of my favorite guys, George Carlin, had this saying, is golf, it's the worst sport ever. You hit a ball with a crooked stick, and you go find it, and then you hit it again. Why not pick it up and go home and have a drink? So I'm not a big golfer, but it's kind of fun, relaxing sometimes until you're really bad, and then it's awful. But this is the cultural landscape in Scotland. It's the sport of that area, and it's from there. And you can see here in California or Arizona, I'm not sure where this is. Your book tells you where this is. You can see how much land is being used. You can see the very dry nature behind it and the water being used tremendously to keep it green. And again, California is going through an extreme drought right now, and they're having major issues here. And most of this water is recycled. They keep using this with the lake and recycling it. But it's still a lot of green, a lot of time and money spent into this landscape where only a few upper class folks get to use it. So it's a big cultural divide as well, especially the private courses like this. What happens when folk and popular culture collide? This is chapter 9, challenges to the landscape of folk and pop culture, loss of traditional values, implosion of popular culture, imposition of popular culture through diffusion of the media. So the folk culture is getting bombarded all over the place, and that does not go with that picture. Freedom of the internet, all sorts of things like that. Challenges to pop culture. From pop culture, fast food is becoming uniform throughout the world. Gas, food, and lodging is being needed as people mechanize. The global marketplace, global diffusion, globalization, lowering cost of travel, that really helps. And local cultures versus globalization, we'll see that. Uniform landscape. Now, you don't see this everywhere. There's Tennessee chicken, but it's, Tennessee. You'll find that in Tennessee. The local thing. Just like in Charlotte, we have Price's Chicken Coop, which is a very, very local institution. Here in Gastonia, we have Fat Cats. And other places like Tequila's, which is locally owned. Money stays here. It doesn't go outside. But then we have the East Gastonia, Franklin Square area, where everything you buy, the money goes and the profit goes out, except for paying wages to locals. Very low wages too. Okay. Now, where is this? Who the heck knows? Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, Washington, Seattle. Who knows? You can see, you've seen some of these places all over the place. Hardee's, Dollar General, Singular Wireless, maybe Chatham or Hatham Square. Can't see that. That might be local. You see Aldi's, national chains, or Salvation Army Family Store, national chains everywhere. Okay, this is locally grown from McDonald's. You buy the apples locally. You dip it in Seattle because that's where it's from. So they're trying to promote localism, even though it's a multinational conglomerate. Okay.